Today's adventure begins with the generic 4445. Fits 55 to 57 Chevrolet, 58 Corvette, 55 to 57 Corvette. Also fits a fuel injected Corvette for 57. This is generic only because it says it doesn't have the AC stamping on it. The body is AC, but there's no stamping, no numbers stamped on the outside of it. And this customer is just going to use this as a spare. I did one for him, one of the 6-valve AC pumps that he's probably going to use on it. So we're going to go through it and freshen it up in the event that you have one of these and you've called in for a kit. That tag that's right there has the number 4445 on it. And if you need a kit for it, give us a call, 781-335-8860. You can order a kit using that number and let them know that this the application and that it's not a genuine AC pump. And that will, if it was, it would be a little shaped a little different. Anyway, let's get underway and we'll see if we can't make this one nice and pretty. Before we get started, what you want to do is mark the location with the orientation. You get the inlet and outlet. Mark the body, scribe a line between the body part and the fuel casting itself. Take a picture of it, draw a picture. Do anything you can to make it so that it goes back on the exact same way. And while you're at it, if you like this video, take a second, click on that like button and the notification bell, and subscribe. That way you'll get notified when the next video comes up. So let's get going. Remove these 4 screws. This is known as the pulsator diaphragm. While that arm is, while the pump is in service and working, this diaphragm is there to take up the thumping. And also, when the fuel comes in, it'll hit this and go down to the diaphragm, get pushed back up, and hit this and go out the outlet. Kind of simple. Anyway, remove all these 10 screws and you'll get access to the diaphragm assembly itself. Now the last screw it's taken out, it's the valves you can see in there and the diaphragm assembly. To remove it, a lot of guys will take out the pin that holds the arm, put a little pressure on it and slide it out. And I can't remember when the last time I did it that way. What I do is say, grab a hold of this diaphragm. We want to push it down a little bit, back, and then unhook that arm, the link from this. So what we're doing is we're pushing it down, tipping it back, and then doing that. And it should just unhook. And down inside of here you'll get a seal and a retainer. put your screwdriver in there and pop it out. Don't bother saving it, you're not going to use it again. If you have to remove the arm for any reason, whether you can get, you can twist that arm, you suspect that there's wear and stuff in there. What you want to do is just drive that pin out. If you look at one side, you notice it's kind of flat like that. And this side, there's usually a D washer right in here. Just knock that pin straight out through that way. And in the kit you'll get a new spring. You'll get a seal, diaphragm assembly, and valves. Knocking the valves out is really easy. You just want to take a screwdriver or a punch, knock them down, and they fall on the floor. Just make sure that when you go to take it out, you can see that it's not, obviously not going to come out this way, it'll come out through this way. And that's it for disassembly. We're gonna glass bead everything, and we're gonna clear coat it. We're gonna flatten all the surfaces, and I'll show you what that is in a few minutes. Okay, now that everything is nice and clean, the surfaces are all nice and flat. I ran it on the belt sander. And the cover. Now a lot of times on the original ones that have the AC embossed on the top, inside of here you'll see a circle with a number inside it and a number of slots, number of lines around the outside. That'll tell you when that came out of the casting. And usually on these ones here, on the bodies, it'll either be, that same setup will either be inside of here. Most of the time it's right in there. I've seen it down inside the hole, or on the outside, could be anywhere. Remember this little ding here? Well, as it turns out, it's a crack. And if I didn't seal this up, you'd have an oil leak. Now usually on these ones here, couldn't run this on the belt sander because you'll notice this part of the casting sticks up higher than the rest. So you have to take a flat file, or if you have one of those little block sanders that covers the whole thing, you can use it, do that with the piece of sandpaper. Now this is similar to what you'll see inside. It's usually stamped somewhere in here will be the casting date. Anyways, when it comes to this cover, if it was an original AC casting, you'd see a cover like this, and it would be, the AC insignia will be on there. I've seen these come through with this type of a cover on it, which is one of these without these two extra ears on it. And that would fit in through there, but you can't use this in place of what really belongs on there. I've also seen them come through with a single bolt. I think the latest ones, the latest incarnation of these AC clones, uses this type of a cover. So if you call in for a kit and ask for, tell them you have a 243 pump, you're going to get a kit with this in it, when in fact you probably have this. So you'd have to tell them I either got a 4 screw, a 2 screw, or a 1 screw. I don't make the rules, I just go by them. Anyway, you'll get, in the kit you'll get 2 valves. Along with these 2 gaskets, among a whole bunch of other things. We're going to put these 2 gaskets in. Make note of which way these go, which way the valve goes. Either rivet up or rivet down. And the easiest way to tell is to look inside, and you'll see that little piece of casting right there? This hole is smaller than this one, which tells me that this is going to go down. Now, using a whatever kind of tool you can get a hold of, there should be a socket that'll fit just to the outside of that valve. Just drive it down till it bottoms out. You can look on the inside and make sure that the valve is touching the gasket. The other side is going to go rivet down. Be very careful knocking this in. It's very easy to break that casting. Also, well, you won't break this casting, but as there's more to it. But it would be easy to drive it through and break that. You'll crack that casting. Make sure it's sitting down all the way, and this one isn't. And now it is. If you have a prick punch, just hit it in 4 corners. Same thing with both of these valves. You just want enough to dent the casting. Like that. You see in 4 corners. It grabs the valve so that it doesn't drop out. Put your pulsated gasket back on. Get 4 screws. Just bring these all down nice and even. Be careful, you can strip them very easily. It's only going into aluminum casting. Now you can do a quick test to make sure that the valves are seating, that you're seated around here and it's nice and sealed. The outlet, you should be able to suck air out and not blow any air in. And that works. In the inlet, you should be able to blow air in and not suck it out. That's the good sound. Now we want to put on, we got a seal. The correct way for putting these seals together and take off any flashing that might be still on that. If you look at the retainer, there's a ridge right around the inside, there's a little pocket. It's going to sit right over that. Put it down inside. Drive that home. Now we want to, this could slip out of there, that retainer. It's not in there real hard, so we want to dimple the casting around the outside of this. You can go in the same spot that the other one was. In 4 spots, it'll keep that retainer from lifting out. Take a little dab of oil on your finger, put it on that, right in the center of that. We don't want that pull rod to run dry. This is the spring that controls the pressure. Sit that on it, and here's another difficult part. Up inside of here, I don't know if you can see it or not, you can see the part of the link that goes up. And you know what, I think we're gonna hold off on that. I'm gonna drive this pin out and put a different pin in that's gonna be, it's gonna have a D-washer on it. In fact, no, I don't think I'm gonna. Let's put it together. We want to. I'm surprised that went that easy. Usually you have to fight with it. In order to get that thing hooked, we're going to push the diaphragm, drive that pull rod in, and then hook it. You're hooking it on the end of this, the link that's down inside. And that's what the link looks like. I'll grab a pull rod, and this is what you're trying to do. See if I can do this. You're going to come down through this seal and then back. Well, I'm doing this upside down. In and back. And if you can do that the first try, congratulate yourself. It usually doesn't happen. Okay, we're ready to put all this together. Put it back in your vise. Find your reference mark for when you took it apart. Inlet, outlet. Put 2 screws in. Push it through the casting and into the hole in the diaphragm. Move it around so you can feel it in the hole. Run it down a little bit. Run it about halfway down, but don't tighten it all the way up. Put in the rest of the 8 screws. Just run them down the same amount, not all the way, just enough so that it runs into the casting. And like I said, don't run it down all the way, don't tighten them all the way up. Now grab your handy dandy adjustable wrench. Put it on that arm. You're going to use it for leverage. Pull that diaphragm up till it stops. All the way. Now tighten up 4 of the screws. You want to do them opposite each other. Keep pressure on that arm. Once you get 4 of the screws done, I like to do 6 of them, but once you get 4 or 6 of these screws down, you can release the pressure off the arm. And you can almost test it to make sure you get pressure and vacuum. Once they're down, tighten them all the way up. Just go, I like to go around in a circle till I end up back where I started. This last screw is where I'm going to put that tag. I don't know if you can see the number on it. $44.45. It was made by AC. So it was rebuilt by AC, and we don't know when. Okay, all the screws are tight. Now I can double check. We got pressure, we got vacuum. This pump's going to work. If the diaphragm goes, I forgot to cover up that hole. If the diaphragm ever goes bad or the seal ever goes bad, it'll either blow fuel out through those 2 little holes, or it'll blow oil out through the holes. Oil shouldn't be getting on that side of it, and fuel shouldn't be getting on this side of it. Nothing should be in here but air. And the air breathes out through those 2 little holes. So that just about does it, other than me pulling it apart again and fixing that hole. Put a gasket on it, send it back. That brings it to an end. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section down below. Click that like button, a notification bell, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.